Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Leadership Void Podcast. I'm Enrique with my co host, Vince, to bring you the best in our veteran, military spouse, and first responder community. And Vince will introduce today's guest.
I appreciate it, Enrique. All the way from Tacoma, Washington, we have Tanisha Medina. She is the CEO of Speak Life Heal Up. So we're so excited to have you talk about your adventure in your business, but also we want to know about you. Tanisha, tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you for having me. First of all, it's a privilege to be on your show here. So, a little bit about me. I come from a unique background. I'm third generation Army, as you see, Black female. My grandfather was in World War II, my father in Vietnam, and myself, Iraq. After serving 23 years, I transitioned into becoming a licensed mental health counselor. I feel like my experiences have shaped my passion for helping others navigate challenges and their well being goals. Uh, I have a master's in counseling from the University of Washington, as well as a master's of resiliency trainer certification from the University of Pennsylvania. Some other things that kind of throw in there are I'm EMDR trained, as well as a 200-hour certified yoga instructor, and some of the self practices that I do that bring everything within are as well as trauma informed yoga, mindfulness based stress reduction, and self compassion mindfulness. And when I'm not doing all of that, to bring a little bit of me to it, you will find me on some outdoor adventures. So I love traveling, doing some camping here lately, kayaking, hiking. Also, I really enjoy spending time, quality time with my closest friends, family, and children. That brings me a lot of joy. Additionally, like what is not busy and with people, the introverted side of me really cherishes moments of peace to indulge in writing, reading, and creativity.
As we're discussing your background and all the things that you've done so far, tell us about the Speak Life Heal Up Counseling Services. It's very interesting.
Oh, thank you. So I started a private practice just as a way to help people, I would say like veterans, anyone that's just having a difficult time with their mental well being. And my focus now has become, I shouldn't say my focus, it's more like my mission. Let's call it my mission to empower extremely busy people that find it hard to take a pause and a breath. I offer a safe, sacred space to create connections with themselves, others, heal invisible wounds, and navigate through life obstacles to show up as their most optimal, healthy self and resilient version um, by equipping them with strategic tools and long lasting, impactful skills that they can continue to use. So they're immediate, but I want them to be long and impactful. So when I'm not around, people know how to use these things to get back to their baseline or just to create a lifestyle that brings joy and happiness.
Absolutely. Tanisha, I felt energy when when you spoke about going on hikes and going kayaking, and also when you talk about reading and writing. So I love that. It's a full circle there, and you're giving that to a community that's definitely in need. So I appreciate everything you're doing. And plus the fact that you are third generation Army. So I salute you all and your legacy behind all that as well. So speaking about some challenges and what you've done in your private practice, share any entrepreneurship challenges or lessons learned you'd like to share with our audience, or how do you give back to the community?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. I'm just going to name a few because I love to give back and how should I say, still serve, serving in a different way, but serving in a capacity that also continues to help our community. I'm just going to probably list three here. So I was, let's see how to say this. So I helped organize, and our local high school had a Martin Luther King assembly. And so I helped organize that by doing interviews. I want to say it was their first ever that they did. So I was with the students, and we just created this model for the school to really honor MLK. Next, I co-facilitated a small women's veterans retreat, along with a friend of mine who I'll name is Dr. Debbie um, Marjalio Lynn. Her focus is in organizational leadership. We just got some veteran women together and just ran it from top to bottom, instilling like peace and giving them skills, a little bit of yoga, mindfulness, some nature and walk, and combining all of that together. Um, and then lastly, not to the end, lastly, but I'll just talk about the last one. We have a Pierce County Counseling Association that I'm part of. And so I did a professional presentation on empowering mental health professionals to combat burnout through self-care and resilience. And as well as when I'm not doing those things, I have volunteered for the Red Cross as a adult and child reconnection workshop facilitator. So I'll just kind of leave it like that. There is more projects that I enjoy working on too.
That's wonderful. You know, we have witnessed both Vince and I, as well as all of the guests that come in, that volunteering, giving back is
Mhm.
still integral in what we do. And it's so tied to what we do that we continue to serve, as you have had mentioned. So thank you for doing that for your community. I know they appreciate that. Now let's talk about what's on the horizon for your practice.
Yeah, so what's coming up, what to look forward to? Like with me, you just never know. It's like an excitement. I could be, like you mentioned, maybe jumping out of a plane. I don't know. Let's see here. So if you would have asked me that question like 3 months ago, I would have given you this elaborate, complex business plan. But now I'm kind of leaning in, as we call in the army, like leaning into the foxhole, leaning into my part-time position as a therapist with a sense of gratitude. So I would like to bring more of a, how can I say this, organization to it, where I'm more accessible, meaning like maybe website, doing more podcasts, maybe Instagram, and just being the other voice, also being a voice for those that are not always heard, like the hidden things. I know Vince pulled out my writing there. I have been writing here lately and have a lot of opportunity with Path with Art. So I've been writing poetry. There's a book on the horizon, but I don't know if I could lump that all in. I guess it's part of me, so I can lump that in. Uh, so those are kind of the things that are on the horizon. But I love the idea of partnering and collaborating with other entrepreneurs, kind of like yourself here, on life-changing programs. One of my goals for this year, though, too, is to do another professional presentation, and this is with the American Academy of Social Therapists. They have that's a lot of word tongue twisting here. But they have a 2024 Institute and Conference coming up, and this is a new organization. So I want to put in a proposal to teach a mind body approach to treating trauma.
No, absolutely. We want you to be seen, Tanisha, so you can help those that feel that are unseen, right? So
Mhm.
I definitely hope that you get more speaking engagement and your platform does grow. So what you offer definitely is valuable. So transitioning here a little bit, 23 years in the Army and your
Mhm.
practice, what do you do to sharpen your skill sets that aids you to thrive in your professional life?
As you say that, it comes up to know yourself and to seek improvement. That just kind of came to me as you mentioned that, Vince. But also, I'm so eager to learn and teach. That's naturally what comes to me. So I enjoy listening, reading, and also researching topics related to like their evidence based, but they're also holistic modalities to promote mental wellness. And when I talk about mental wellness, I encompass this overall well-being. So it's like taking care of your mind, body, and soul is so essential. And so it can be anywhere from, the choosing the option, the healthy option foods, engaging in physical movements that are just so subtle. They could be Tai Chi, yoga, some of that Eastern medicine, bringing that in. Also, when I think about reading, two books that come to mind that really resonated and kind of changed the way I think. Also, what I share with people. I'm thinking of The Blue Zone by Dan Butner. Butner, I hope I'm saying that right. And Atlas of the Heart with Brene Brown. It sounds, I see you repeating. Have you read or heard anything about that book, Vance?
Yes, I've read Atlas of the Heart, and also I've seen the documentary about the Blue Zones, which is phenomenal. There's one in California, which is great, right? So
Yeah,
it's phenomenal what they're doing to extend the longevity of aging and being healthy while you're doing it. So thank you.
you're welcome.
So as we're talking, all this years of service, all these years of now practice, all the years of education, in all of those years, I know that you've received advice that you feel someone else needs to hear. So, what advice did you receive that you would like to pass on to an emerging leader today?
I love this. What comes to mind um, is not so much as what somebody's shared with me, but it's a lesson that I wish I would have learned early on, but I'm excited about sharing it with other people. Have you ever heard the phrase, "You're not everyone's cup of tea"? Okay, so I'm gonna just go in a little scenario because I'm a learner as well, and I feel like I can learn from anyone. I can learn from my clients, you people, soldiers. It could be children, anyone. I'm just a learner, and I feel like everyone has something to offer in life. But I'm gonna set the scenario up here. So I'm a therapist, and I'm getting licensed, and I'm working in a community health center where we see multiple clients a day. I could see maybe 8. But I have a new client, and we're in this office, and I have a new client coming in, and he's about, let's say, 15 minutes late. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to see him anyway. Let me just bring him in. He's new. Everybody, you don't know behind the scenes what it takes to get here. So he gets in, I'm having my session with him, kind of introducing, taking things slow, kind of figuring out, you know, if I can help, what's the best way, what are you coming in for? And towards the end of the session, he's getting ready to leave. He kind of just pauses and unexpectedly just tells me, um, don't worry, but if I don't come back or I choose another, basically fire me. If I choose another therapist, don't take it personal. It's not you, right? Those are kind of the last things at that time that I wanted to hear. Oh, he's firing me. This is the first time. What did I do wrong? What did I say? So he goes to my boss and lets me know he wants another therapist. I'm thinking, oh no. But the caveat to that and what I learned was that last sentence, it's not you. So going back and thinking like in life, like no matter what you say, what you do, what you don't do, some people you're just not going to mesh well with them. And I'm aware that I'm not everyone's preference, and that's completely acceptable. A significant part of the healing process and positive therapeutic outcome is discovering that right fit. So I take that lesson to a broader aspect. So that could be in a relationship, that could be with people, with business. You will find your cup of tea that fits just right for you. So not to take it personal as I pause and take a sip of tea.
Absolutely. Drink that tea because that is your cup. So it's true, you have to find those that mesh with you and don't take it personal. I love that advice you give because that is true not only in the business arena, but also in the personal arena. So thank you, Tanisha, for that. Now,
You're
how about
welcome.
yeah, you're very welcome as well. Thanks. How about a memorable leadership aha moment you've had you'd like to share with our audience as well?
So I'm thinking about a lesson that I personally learned. Have you ever had someone in life tell you, oh, that's too big of a dream, or you can't do this, or how are you going to accomplish it and achieve it? You have so many little resources. And I would have to say, when I was getting my master's degree, it wasn't a private practice like I'm doing now. It wasn't highlighted. It was more like, oh, it's so hard. It takes a lot of work and kind of pushing away from that. And I took it as, hmm, let's take it as a challenge, a personal challenge here. And I used it as motivation and found a way to accomplish it. And I wouldn't say I would, did it by myself, of course. I learned that it's perfectly okay to ask for help and support towards your goal. And there are people out there in the community that want to be a part and to see you do really well. There's so many resources, military, civilian. I have felt very grateful and supported in my endeavors and being here. So I can't say yes, I'm the CEO, but there's many people behind the scenes that continue to help me to be here. And one of your greatest victories in life is your success. And I found a quote that I would like to read by Danny Pashawa, and it fits perfectly with this. Everyone has the capability to become successful. It's about rising above those who can't, even if that person is yourself.
Now that's very powerful. And usually we will say we're our greatest enemy, right? All that internal turmoil and struggle usually is what brings us down. There are some people that will interject the difficulties of a task, but we don't have to believe them, right?
Right.
So we have to believe in ourselves and make sure that we go through those challenges. And talking about challenges, what are certain strategies that you use with yourself or maybe a team to deal with times of change and challenges?
So I'm about learning and not creating the wheel, but integrating those things that have become part of my life and experience and which I've been taught. In the Army, we have what we call the 7 steps of problem solving, which help leaders make decisions in combat and training situations. So I take the foundation of that combined with solution focused brief therapy, which focuses more on the problem, on what's right, rather than what's wrong. And I would have to say from that, I really hone in and bring a part of that foundation with myself. Like, okay, number one, let's focus on, let's enter this with a calmness. It doesn't do well when we put our bodies in this flight, fight mode. And also having that attitude, a can do attitude. Like, okay, we know this is really hard, adding some self compassion in there, but we can do hard things. So just setting the stage for that type of mindset. And second, I think it's important as a leader to have this act of radical listening. And what do I mean by that? What's radical? I mean, it's this posture that you take to really listen to the person for the problem, not to initially solve it, but just to kind of get in there with understanding, removing all judgment, any type of bias, basically doing less talking and more it allows room for more leadership and growth. And then lastly, I would say focusing your energy, time, and attention on the things that you can control, right? Because there's a lot of things that are out of the realm that we're just not going to always be able to control the situation. If we do everything right, things may crumble and fall, but we go back to focusing, okay, what can I do in this situation? What can I give my time, my energy that may affect a positive outcome for us and the whole team collectively?
I love those three strategies you shared and never heard radical listening, which I love that. I heard empathic listening, but it's all about one being calm and listen to understand, not to respond. Appreciate everything you shared, Tanisha. Love what you're doing. And folks listening in, how do they contact you or your private practice?
Yeah, I would say for now, until the horizon comes down, where I have this website and this social media, because I do want to make it accessible. But for now, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can type in Tanisha Medina and find me there. Also, I have a email address that you can contact me at, and I'll try. It's kind of long, so I will say it where people can understand. Tanisha at SpeakLifeHealUp.me. And the speak life comes from, I feel like the more that we speak, we can give things a voice that are on the inside, that are hidden, that are quiet, and get them out. Somehow we start to nurture and to grow and to heal.
Outstanding. And folks, will have all of that information as part of the show notes and video for you to get a hold of Tanisha and her practice. If you would like to get a hold of us at the Leadership Void podcast, the Leadership Void at gmail.com is where you'll send that correspondence. If you'd like a leadership topic covered or a guest speaker, you will do it by those means.
And lastly, also, we want to thank our sponsors, Triple Nickel, A Hero for Kids, and FAVOB. But today is all about Tanisha. Speak Life, Heal Up is a great, I love that, Tanisha, what you're doing, what you have going on, your passion and your mission. And we thank you for being on our show and have an awesome day.
You too, and I thank you and so much appreciate being with fellow veterans and this space and collaborating. I just kind of put positive things for your podcast here, and I look forward to sharing. And like we said, we're a community. So any way that I can be of help, please let me know.